Coach, talk about that last 6-minute stretch there, particularly with that press they were running. Guys seem to have a really tough time with it.
Didn't execute press offense.
Specifically, what
Panic.
so you
Just panic.
What were you telling them when they came to the bench for any timeout situation?
We have a saying around our program: a lob pass is a loose ball. I've said it since the first day I walked in the door. It's been 10 years. So we talked about a lot of passes we're throwing. We talked about letting the ball bounce so the clock would run and get our press offense set up instead of grabbing it and panicking. But before I sound like I'm blaming it on the guys, obviously I'm not doing a good job. Because those messages that are supposed to get through, especially about throwing lob passes and about setting up your press offense and pass faking, being strong at the ball, and about using one of your 4 timeouts if you are trapped instead of panicking, they're not getting through. As I told them, I said, I'm frustrated because obviously I'm not getting my points across. I know what I'm talking about, but it doesn't matter unless there's a complete commitment to doing the things you have to do. After the game the other day, I told them I was the most embarrassed I've been since I've been here in the second half against Duke. That was absolutely, completely an embarrassment. Well, I topped that today. One of my former players at the Duke game, he called me and said, "What is going on with your team, Coach?" One of my former Siena guys, that doesn't look like one of your teams. I said, "JC, you're right. Obviously, I'm not doing what I need to do with these guys."
What can you do? I mean, obviously you did get the win, but what can you do to fix that, to quell those kind of issues?
I got a suggestion box.
Coach, DeAndre had 7 turnovers, and a couple of those were on some of the out-of-bounds, inbounds plays. Did you ever consider having somebody else
He's
take?
a 5th-year senior. You want to put a freshman in there? You think that's the answer? Put a freshman instead of a 5th-year senior? Then it would be the second guess the other way. Why is he a freshman taking out? He's got a 5th-year senior. It's a 5th-year senior. That's straight second guessing. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
You want him to be more strong with the ball, be more definitive in the
Use a
pass?
timeout. Don't throw lob passes. We say around here all the time, lob passes are loose balls. Loose balls are anybody's ball. We threw about 10 loose balls in the last 3 minutes and 20 seconds of that game. You have 4 timeouts on the board. Use them if you're stuck. Use them if you're stuck. Thought about calling a timeout with 18 seconds to go, but if you call a timeout and you go out there, you got 1 left. You call that one, now you got nothing to inbounds the ball. If you don't have one, call a timeout. You don't have a guy open, that is.
I guess another thing that didn't help was the free throw percentage. You guys only
That's
shot
okay.
57%
You
from the
know,
line.
that's going to happen. We had a 16-point lead. We're supposed to finish the game out.
Coach, is there anything particular wrong with MUFON, or is it just like you said, a freshman a wall midway through the season? Or?
Well, I think Glenn Rice and Brian Oliver are playing well. It's not so much what he's not doing, but Brian Oliver and Glenn Rice, in my opinion, have played pretty good basketball for us. Glenn is really starting to develop. Didn't score today much, but believe me, he does some good things out there, and that's one of the reasons why MUFON's minutes have gone down.
Amon was sick today?
Yeah.
Can you talk about his play though? I mean, there was some time in the second half where he pulled up for some threes.
Yeah,
and
when
some
we play
shots.
good defense and you know, just execute things. We had a good 8-minute stretch there. We were really good. I mean, it was, you know, it's frustrating for me, at least as a coach, to be like an offensive coordinator when I'm calling plays all the time. I'd rather see us get stops, run, and flow into things. And we had about an 8-minute stretch where we did that. We didn't have a basket in transition. We executed stuff. We were screening well. And we missed a bunch of layups, but that's okay. I mean, we were getting good shots. You know, we opened the half. We were executing pretty well. We missed a couple easy ones. That's fine. But the panic and the lob passes, I can't. That's unacceptable, especially from older guys. That's
Coach, you had really good shooting nights tonight from Zachary Peacock and Derek Favors. Favors was 6 and 7, and Peacock was 7 and 8. Just talk about how those guys were able to get the ball in.
Again, when you do the things you're supposed to do. And in the first, I don't know, we got to one of the timeouts in the first half, and the ball had gone inside one time, and we dunked it. And I was like, fellas, what are we doing here? throw the ball inside. The only time we threw it in, Ghani got a dunk. And then what happens is your big guys now, they get a little anxious. They catch the ball in a bad position, and they force stuff. So that's why Ghani had some of the turnovers he had. And you want to blame him, but at the other side of it, you look, you go, he knows he has a tremendous mismatch, so when he gets his hands on it, he's not going to be as quick to throw it out if he's not seeing it. We started doing things we had to do. We threw it inside. We got deep post position. We got great looks. And again, you know, you're going to miss shots, and we got some easy shots that rolled out for us, but keep pounding away and keep doing the things you're doing to get good shots. Don't make this game difficult for yourself. We found a way to make this game difficult for ourselves at the end.
One more question?
Well, how much of that was actually NC State's tough play? I mean, they're 2-7 in the conference, but
This is the ACC.
they have played a lot of.
This is the ACC. You're going to play against tough players. So if it means that we got to trot out, you know, soft players to play against, then, you know, you better make tough plays in this league. If you don't, there is no margin for error in this league. You know, we were 2 and whatever last year, and I can't tell you how many times we took teams that went to the tournament and went deep in the tournament, deep into games. Because it's the ACC. You got to make tough plays. Good teams make these plays. Good teams make the plays. And I point out to the guys the last game, that kid Singler played with a bad wrist. He scored 30 points with a bad wrist. That took a level of toughness that, quite honestly, we haven't seen around here in a little while. You know, we see a lot of calls for I need more touches and I need more minutes. That kid played with a bad. I coached him, so I know that if he's shaking his wrist, he's hurt. I coached him in USA basketball when he was a junior in high school, and he dropped 30 on us. No complaints, no excuses. He dropped 30. That took a level of toughness. And, you know, after we get through tomorrow's off day, I told him I don't talk about this game anymore. This game is over. Let's get ready for Miami. But they better take a long look in the mirror, including me. I got to take a long look in the mirror and figure out, you know, what do we have to do to play 40 minutes the way we're supposed to play ball.